Hello, so glad you're with us today. Ahmed Fareed, Robbie Earl, Danny Higginbotham. As you can tell, we have a whole lot to talk about today. These guys will get their chance to discuss the big news of the day. But first, I want to share you at least part of Everton's statement earlier today on the decision. While the club is still digesting the appeal board's decision, we are satisfied our appeal has resulted in a reduction in the points sanction. Notwithstanding the appeal board's decision and the positive outcome, the club remains fully committed to cooperating with the Premier League in respect to the ongoing proceedings brought for the accounting period ending in June of 2023. The club is still considering the wider implications of the decision and will make no further comment at this time other than to place on record its thanks to our fan advisory board and other fan groups throughout this process and to all Evertonians for their ongoing support and patience. With that, we welcome in our Premier League insider, David Ornstein, to make sense of the ruling today. David, good to see you once again. So what can you tell us about the ruling, the language of the ruling, and potentially what it means going forward for Everton?
Yeah, the first thing to say, Ahmed, is that Everton's first charge for breaching financial fair play rules, profit and sustainability is over. Their 10-point penalty has been reduced by 4 points to 6 points. And let's give a brief explainer on how we got to this point. In March of 2023, Everton were charged with breaches of the rules. You're allowed to lose £105 million as a maximum over a 3-year rolling period. Everton were happy to cooperate with this process because they did not deny being in breach. The commission was set up, an independent panel, to hear their case in October. It found that Everton admit their breach. It also found that their breach was in excess of £300 million, but then you can put some add-backs in place for spending on stadiums and women's team and academy, and eventually the loss was found to be £124.5 million, which is £19.5 million over the permitted limit. Everton said that it was actually lower, £9.7 million. They were given this 10-point deduction. They were clear that they wanted to appeal against this. They were furious. They thought it was wholly disproportionate and unjust. The appeal hearing took place at the beginning of January, early February. By this point, Everton had brought in one of the most renowned lawyers to help them with their case. And we got the news today. We heard that Everton contested 9 points legally. 7 of those contested points were rejected, but 2 of them were upheld. They were described as legal errors on behalf of the original panel. One, that Everton acted in bad faith. This appeal said that they didn't. The second is that the original commission didn't consider benchmarks and precedents when they came to their verdict on the 10 points. And this appeal panel felt that actually 6 points was sufficient in terms of the punishment. That was appropriate and that was proportionate. They did confirm in their view, however, that Everton did gain sporting advantage from this, which was a key point. Now we move on to Everton's second charge. They have breached again within the accounting period of 3 years. But the question will be, are they going to suffer another points deduction, or are they going to be given some leniency based on the principle of double jeopardy, because it would appear to be the same charge? That is what we're going to find out when their second case is heard.
So clearly, David, good job explaining that Everton's still looking at what could happen to them in the future. But they are not the only club that was watching today's ruling intently, and it still has some questions coming up here in the near future, David.
So, Ahmed, in January, both Everton for the second time and Nottingham Forest for the first time received charges for breaches of these profitability and sustainability rules. The first example of new rules that is designed for the cases to be heard within the same season, which obviously didn't happen with Everton last time round. Nottingham Forest's case is slightly different because they were in the Championship for 2 of the 3 accounting period seasons. And so their allowed losses are lower. When they came up to the Premier League, they spent very heavily on player transfers, and they're adjudged to have exceeded the allowed limits. 1 point, which is crucial to say, is their mitigation, which is likely to be the signing of Brennan Johnson for £47.5 million. The sale to Tottenham. That came outside of the accounting period. If it had come within it, they probably would have been okay, but they waited to maximise their value, and that took them without it. And this is going to be a key point that another prominent lawyer, Nick DeMarco, will argue on their behalf. This case needs to be heard, as well as Everton's second one, by around mid-April. There will then be the possibility to appeal, and the Premier League say this has to be wrapped up by the 24th of May in time for their annual general meeting, when places are given for the next season's Premier League. That does come a few days after the end of the Premier League season on the 19th of May, so it's conceivable this could not be finished before the end of the season, and that has ramifications. Manchester City's case, everybody is asking, what's happening with that? Those cases were deemed simple. This is deemed complex. It's completely different. 115 alleged breaches of Premier League rules that were given to them in February of last year. They deny all of them. They are adamant that they're going to clear their name with irrefutable evidence, but we're not sure exactly when this case is going to be heard. My understanding is that it will be in the year 2024. This year it will finally come to pass. We don't know what the outcome will be. There is also investigation over Chelsea. They self-reported financial irregularities that the new ownership spotted in relation to the previous ownership. But they have not been charged, and so they believe they will be okay. We'll have to see on that front. We are seeing battles being fought in legal chambers off the pitch rather than on the pitch because of these tough new rules that clearly have teeth. But today, at least, Everton will feel some comfort that their punishment for the first charge has been reduced.
All right, our Premier League insider, David Ornstein, with all the information that we have learned here today. Thank you so much, David. So we bring back in Robbie and Danny. We're assured that at some point this will all be sorted out, and David says maybe by the end of 2024. What's your biggest reaction to the news?
Well, all hail David Ornstein, by the way. Incredible detail and understanding, and he's given me a better picture. First of all, I'm pleased for Everton Football Club that it is down to 6. It feels more in line. It felt heavy-handed. It felt excessive. The 10-point, the record sanction that was put on them. So I'm pleased with that. Where I'm not so pleased is I still don't have the clarity, the transparency of how we're getting to these numbers. I almost feel we need some idea, some kind of benchmark, some standardisation. So the charges that are coming down to Forest and to Everton in the future, at least we'll sort of know where that might be. And my other area of worry is the players. Sean Dyche said, I quote, psychologically, my players are having an effect with this going on. And that's not just Everton players. We talk about Luton players. Let's talk about Brentford players, the team who we're seeing today. Players are getting affected by what's happening in this situation.
My concern is similar to Robbie. Basically, the last point that you said is, as the season goes along, you know what David's saying there, the result of this second one for Nottingham Forest and for Everton might not come till after the season. So if I put myself in a position of being Rob Edwards, OK, all of a sudden you're looking at this, you have no idea. Ordinarily, you look at the points on the table and you go, right, you know what, this is what we need. We need these points or we need that point. Comes towards the end of the season, in the back of his mind, it's like, OK, we have to play what we're seeing on the league table at the moment. So say, for example, I don't know, they're a point or they're 2 points adrift. And he's like, we need to win this game. The last 10 minutes in a game, they go all out for it. And they don't get the full 3 points that they think they may need. But then it comes to the end of the season, they could have looked and gone, oh, maybe a draw would have been enough. So it's very, very difficult for not just the teams that are involved in it, but the other teams around it as well.
You almost have to play in a way that you're assuming that you have to get as many points as you need, which I guess is the mentality anyway for a lot of these clubs, but you don't know exactly what that number will be coming up until maybe a week before the end of the season. So a dark cloud over Merseyside.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch more videos all season long. And for even more Premier League content, from original series to live matches, head over to Peacock. And be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend on USA Network and on Peacock. We will see you there.